Hey guys, so I've been sitting here going through my portfolio, pretty much looking at everywhere that I have some stocks, whether it's Charles Schwab, SOFI, Webull, wherever I have stocks, and really just been doing my assessment of what was my biggest losers and what was my biggest gainers in 2025. And so with that, whether it was ETFs or stock, one of the ones that I really want to talk about because of this space that we're in right now is AIQ. AIQ is an artificial intelligence ETF, and they have a number of holdings from everything from Palantir, NVDA, Micron Technologies, everything pertaining to Tesla, and a number of others, Taiwan, Semiconductors, all of that. Okay, and we're actually going to go to their ETF site, look at their holdings, and look at a number of other things because this has been one of my biggest gainers. I got my first 50 shares of AIQ when it was around $36. Okay, right now it's sitting at about $52. And so it has been a nice little run. And of course, because it is tracking stocks that has been heavily putting itself on the front line for this AI run. NVIDIA, of course, has been leading the charge, okay? But not just NVIDIA. Taiwan on the back end has been the backbone. I've said that in previous videos because they are the ones responsible for manufacturing these chips that NVIDIA needs, as well as Mag 7, to even be able to allow them to step into these AI efforts that they're doing. Not only that, the data centers. We've been seeing that go crazy. Oracle, 5 billion Stargate project, APLD, Applied Digital, which is one we will definitely continue to watch in 2026, has definitely made a good decision to pivot into this digital, well, not digital, I'm sorry, data center space to create hyperscalers. And they have I think it's a 15-year lease with CoreWeave. So they are really starting to begin to put themselves in position to take advantage of this AI for needing housing with data centers. Okay, so APLD is one we'll talk about as well. And so from data centers to AI to the infrastructure to the hardware to the cloud, all of that is inside AIQ. And I wanted to review it with you guys really quickly because this was one of my biggest gainers. And what I'm looking for is my rinse and repeat opportunities. Where should I add to my portfolio and where should I just cut my losses? And look, I got a couple I'm going to be cutting out because I'm just holding on just because. And so AIQ is one of those ones, all right? So let's go over here. If you want to look at AIQ, you can come to globalxetf.com. Now, it is a ETF by GlobalX, and they have multiple ETFs and funds under their brand, okay? So, AIQ, Artificial Intelligence and Technology ETF. Let's scroll down. Actually, I'm going to come back up here. I'm going to go to Holdings and Characteristics, and we can see some of the companies that AIQ is even tracking, all right? And that just, of course, lets you know. Same way with SPY, QQQ. What companies move SPY? For the most part, Mag 7. SPY has 500 companies within their index, but it's heavily weighted with that Mag 7, and its overall performance is just based on the movement of 500 top companies. Exact same way with AIQ. It is just simply tracking companies that is heavily in this technology and AI space. Okay, so we got Google, we got Micron, we got AMD, we have Alibaba. Now I had someone ask me, what does Alibaba got to do with AI? Alibaba has been really positioning itself into this AI space as well by integrating different AI features into Alibaba.com. So they have been just integrating AI features into their platform. Okay, so we have seen Alibaba come up in news with artificial intelligence. All right, Tesla, of course, Broadcom, Apple. Let's see, Palantir. Palantir comes in with the hardware, with the infrastructure, with the cloud, and a number of other things in the tech, okay? Cisco. I've been talking about Cisco. We know that Cisco was leading the charge back in the dot-com, when the dot-com bubble happened. They were at the forefront. Everything came crashing down, and Cisco came crashing down as well because they were in partnership with a lot of dot-com startups. So when all of that went down the toilet, so did Cisco. Not in terms of the entire company. We know Cisco systems have still been around, but the stock came crashing down, and they are officially getting back to where they were before the crash happened. I talked about that. It's been fighting, but it hasn't quite gotten there just yet. It's around $82, and currently Cisco is sitting at around 75. So we're going to keep watching that one as well. Of course, we got NVDA. We got IBM. We know IBM. They are the OGs of this tech space. Okay, so definitely IBM is in there. Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, of course, Oracle, Netflix, all of them. Now, every single thing inside of this ETF is not just like all artificial intelligence, also looking at the tech space as well. Okay, so that's to put that out there. And Netflix, of course, entertainment, but at the same time, it's in the tech space. Okay, so Intel has given up 10% of their company to the U.S. government. The U.S. government owns 10% of Intel, so of course that's just one we definitely will keep on our radar in general. Let's see, Shopify, Uber is getting into, we already know that the ride shares are getting into like the robo-taxi, or they're getting into the self-driving cars, and of course that requires AI infrastructure. So they're going to be there, okay? So there are a number of companies here that we can kind of watch. There are US-based companies and companies outside the US in here, but it's mostly heavily weighted by US-based companies, all right? And so I definitely want you guys to keep AIQ on your radar. It's not very expensive. Even if you got partial shares, depending on the platform you're using, if it allows partial shares, this could be one that you can take the time to look into yourself, whether you're looking at the charts or whether you're looking into its holdings and its performance, okay? So that will allow you to kind of make a decision from there. All right, let's look at this. 1 year, 32%. 3 years, 36.4%. 5 years, 13%. And since inception, about 17%. Okay, and so when I got into this thing, it was about $32, so $36. So I've been on a little run from that 36 to this 52 with 50 shares, and I'm now looking to see, all right, is this going to be something I can add more shares to? Should I wait for a little bit of a pullback? How are we going to go with this thing? And I will say this too. With Taiwan Semiconductor CEO coming out to say, hey, AI is here to stay. This is not a bubble. Think about it. And I was kind of 50-50 and on the fence with this because, of course, Taiwan Semiconductor is going to say AI is not a bubble. I've said multiple times on, in my videos, I don't believe that AI is a bubble. I do believe that it has it has use, okay? There is a lot of utility to AI. It just depends on how it's being used and where it's being facilitated. And so some stuff, like I've said in previous videos, it's just highly unnecessary. But some stuff, I actually see the point. I actually see utility in this thing long term. And so because because Taiwan is, the backbone of this whole, they're manufacturing everything. They're the only ones who have the capacity to manufacture chips to supply NVIDIA, Mac 7, and all of their clients. Why would they come out and say, yeah, AI is a bubble? It kills their profits, it kills their partnership, and they're going to be getting a side eye. Why would y'all say that when we're coming to you for our AI efforts? So, 50-50 on the fence there, but of course that was expected to be to hear from him to say that. So hey, we just have to go and react to things as they come our way, okay? But AIQ was definitely one of my top winners here outside of SOFI. If you've seen my previous videos, I officially hit 550 shares in SOFI. I've been collecting them things like Infinity Stones since they was like $6, $7, $12, on up to where we are right now. So I've had a number of winners, but AIQ was definitely one of those ones, okay? And so I wanted to put this on your radar. Again, if you want to come and look at AIQ, you just come to globalxetfs.com, okay? And you will be able to see all of the funds that are under Global X. And once you do that, you'll be able to come and you will see AIQ here, $52.30. They have a number of others you can check out, but AIQ was the one that I definitely want to put out there. All right, so artificial intelligence, technology, everything that's tracking a lot of the things that you may have in your portfolio or you may have been watching, or of course that we've seen all across headlines: NVDA, PLTR, Tesla, AMD, AVGO, all of that. Okay, that's all I have for you guys today. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them below. Any stocks you want to share that we can check out together, please share them. All right, and with that, I will see you guys on the chart.